Welcome to the Money Insights Podcast, where high-income earners come to learn wealth-building strategies that will take them from high income to high net worth. With your hosts, financial and wealth-building experts, Allen and Rod Zabriskie.
Welcome into today's episode of the Money Insights Podcast. I'm your host, Allen. With me, as always, Rod the Pod, Zabriskie. Rod, what's up, man?
Hey, I am doing great. You?
I can't complain, man. Sun is shining. It hasn't been for a while, so I'm feeling good.
Yeah.
And I always get a little more excited when it gets warm in summer months. I get to do my power walking in the morning. It's like 4 a.m. I'm out. You're going to catch me out there. Man, that's the best time to do your power walk.
I like it.
So anyway, I'm happy. And Rod, I'm excited about our topic today, which is a little bit interesting. It's maybe a little bit different than what we typically do. Today, we're going to talk about the U.S. downgrade, the Moody's. How do I say this? The downgrade of the U.S. from Moody's. How about that?
The credit rating. Yeah.
Credit rating. Thank you. U.S. credit rating downgrade from Moody's. That's what we're going to talk about. And really the focus, I think, today is going to be talking about maybe why it happened. That's something,
Sure.
right? And what it means for people today, what it means for investors, what it means for people like all of our listeners who are actively building wealth. What's the implication there? And then, of course, are there things that people should be doing either different or continue to be doing as a result of this downgrade? Okay, so the good news is, Rod, you're the economist. So like you sometimes like to do, you're going to put your economist hat on and we're going to turn over some time and you're just going to tell us, first of all, what are the major issues, right? And we've identified like maybe, 5 or 6 core issues that are going to be happening as a result of this downgrade.
Yeah.
And I guess the question is, Rod, where do you want to start?
Well, yeah, first let's start about why. Like what is it? Why does it matter? And so there are basically 3 major credit agencies: Moody's, S&P, and Fitch. Okay, so we might hear these out there or whatever. And so what happened is for forever, the U.S. as a whole, the government has had the highest rating available with all of these agencies, right? Until 2011, S&P 500 or S&P, sorry. In 2011, S&P downgraded one step from the highest. In 2023, Fitch downgraded the US one step from the highest. Moody's was the holdout. They kept them at the highest rating, but they issued a warning in 2023 saying, hey, we are concerned about what's happening with the US debt, especially. That's the biggest thing. And as it's continued to grow, then finally they're like, okay, we can't hold out any longer. Now Moody's has downgraded the US one step from the highest, and it matters. So that's why we want to talk about it.
I mean, it is a historical thing, right? Like you said,
Yeah.
100 years, 100 plus years, the U.S. has been in that realm. And now suddenly we're in a little bit of like shakier ground than we have been. And that's really what the indication is. The indication is that everybody agrees in the world that the United States isn't as stable as it once was. And obviously it's, to your point, due to a massive amount of debt and spending and all those things that don't really seem to be getting put in check. So the odd part is, Rod, at least to me, and I don't dive into these kind of things as much as you do, but the odd thing to me is that it doesn't seem like anybody in the government actually cares all that much. Like, I don't feel like people are like, oh no, this is terrible. We need to like really get a handle on the deficit and the debt. It just feels like kind of par for the course.
Sometimes it's really surprising because, well, I mean, you could say like with what President Trump's been doing with Doge and with some of these things that they're kind of trying to do something about it. But every time they try to do anything, they just met with resistance and complaining and all this kind of stuff from everybody else.
And then they spend more to try like the goal is usually, hey, let's spend all this money. Let's do these things. And it'll probably help us in the future to reduce. And then what seems to happen is we spend the money. And then we get here to this further point down the road that it's supposed to help. And we're like, actually, we need to spend some more money.
Yeah.
That's what it looks like. Am I crazy?
Right. No. And that's the thing that, again, just as I've looked back historically with Ronald Reagan as an example, one of the biggest issues that they had was that they reduced taxes, they reduced tax rates, which in return made the economy boom, actually brought in more revenue, but then they just spent more. So you have to look at both sides. The saving, are you bringing in enough revenue? But then if you're bringing in more revenue, are you just spending more? And that's really ultimately what it comes down to. You can't look at one side and not look at the other.
Okay, I've got a visual, Rod. Do you see
All right.
this?
Yep.
This is the US debt ticker, right? And this is the problem. There, I can't even read it. It's too small right now, but the US national debt is currently at like 36 trillion.
Yep.
36 trillion and growing exponentially. The US deficit, oh my gosh, there's so many numbers I can't even read it. But this is the problem. Ultimately, this is what's happening. This is what's happening.
I love.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah. Well, I shouldn't say I love looking at that. I am intrigued when I look at that, and just like every second, the numbers just tick higher and higher. And
It's wild.
Bonkers.
It just creates a little bit of context for the broadness of the massiveness of the actual numbers. Now, we're talking about a country, right? But if you were to take those same ratios and apply it to like Christian,